It's time for another YouTube Sponsors Exposed! Usually this is the part where I lackadaisically toss the product into view, but this is a digital and more theoretical product, so initiate cutting-edge visual effects now! Ooh. NordVPN, the best thing for whatever they're saying it's used for this week. Protect from hackers at Starbucks, or keep your data safe from your internet service provider. Watch the Netflix content not native to your region, or something. Today we will answer the burning questions of whether or not NordVPN is as advertised, and more importantly, is it worth it? So what even is a VPN anyway? If you don't know, it's a virtual private network. It's mostly used in corporate settings prior to these VPN companies spawning everywhere anyway. The trickiest thing about selling a VPN is giving a customer a reason to own the product, a reason that doesn't fully insinuate that the VPN is a gateway to illegal online activities. You see, companies like Nord pride themselves on having third-party auditors verify that they don't keep any of the URL logs of their customers. So whatever you're doing, in theory, couldn't even be seen by the FBI if they got a search warrant to look at what you were doing. The idea of this being a major selling point, basically, you know, our service is a way to download all the music and videos you want without worrying about being one of the old ladies sentenced to 500 years in prison back in the late 90s and early 2000s for downloading low-quality MP3s of U2. Well, that's not a great marketing tactic for a brand looking to reach the average consumer, at least not from a PR perspective. So, to combat this, NordVPN and others focus on things like keeping your data out of the hands of your internet service provider. At the end of the day, the home use scenario for NordVPN is a general privacy and internet loophole device. To establish this, let's go over the basics of what NordVPN does and what it doesn't do, starting with what it doesn't do. NordVPN does not stop hackers from stealing passwords when you're logged into public Wi-Fi. Well, I guess technically it could, but it doesn't need to. To be fair, I don't think Nord's pushed this feature lately. They might have been sued over it, don't quote me on that. Let me explain a little here. You don't need Nord to protect your banking information. It's already secure. Websites have an HTTPS marker on them, and apps contain the same thing in the background. The S bit has to do with security. Non-secured websites are basically not even browsable these days. Your web browser will yell at you profusely and have like a seizure if you try to use them. Someone hopping onto a public Wi-Fi to steal passwords used to be a problem. To put it in perspective, this would be like someone coming up to you when you're drinking a glass of ice water. They say, "Hey, I've got a great product for you. It's called ice. It keeps your water nice and cold." They're not lying. The product will do that. However, you already have ice water. They are selling you literally nothing. Something else Nord doesn't necessarily do is stop your internet service provider from seeing whatever you're doing. This is because your internet service provider already doesn't see a lot of whatever you're doing. They see the main URL you visit, not any of the subcategories within it. They also don't see what you're doing on that website. They know, generally, where you go and how much data you used while you were there. So what does NordVPN actually do then? They do block your internet service provider from knowing anything about where you went URL-wise, so if you wanted to download massive amounts of pirated material or pornography, they wouldn't know anything beyond you using a ton of data. NordVPN also allows you to, as they advertise, see content that is region-locked, and in practical day-to-day use, that's about all NordVPN does. Funny thing is, some web browsers such as Opera come with VPN built in that can effectively do the same thing. So what sets one VPN apart from another, and does Nord even stand out? Well, it comes down to one word: speed! The top priority is anyone who understands what a VPN actually is and what it is for should be speed and privacy. NordVPN, to their credit, are at the top in both of these categories. Unfortunately, that top is still not very high. The speed is based on the server you're connected to and its ability to use as much of your actual home data as possible and relay that data from one node to another. I'm not gonna get into it. It's gonna be less than half the speed of your regular internet when connected, okay? This is why you don't see companies like Nord advertising what would be a great selling point to their target audiences on YouTube, an anti-doxing feature. See, when your IP address is randomized via VPN, it's not likely someone can use certain attacks to dox a streamer for their information. Problem is, NordVPN is rarely fast or reliable enough to be connected while someone is streaming. So let's get to the brass tacks of it all then. Is NordVPN as advertised? No! While some of their claims are true, when reviewing dozens and dozens of their ads for this product, for every one legitimate feature, there are two filler or nothing features used to pad the fact that a VPN is still, mostly in personal home use, an internet loophole and/or naughty activity device. However, is it worth it? Yes! Even if you don't plan on doing illegal activities, there are times when a VPN can come in handy. Watching region-locked content is the big one. However, if you ever travel, there are times you may connect to a network with weird restrictions on content. You're not likely to use your VPN daily. However, these things usually cost somewhere around $3 to $5 per month. That's more than worth it for the few times you might need a VPN. Nord connects all of your devices without fuss, and it does, what it needs to. There you go. NordVPN. It's not all what they say it is, but it's kind of enough to be worth it for VPN stuff, and it's better than the other ones I've tried. Let me know below what you want me to expose next, and check out the playlist to make sure I haven't exposed it already. Join Patreon if you like this series, since it always scares the sponsors away. Thanks to all the people you see now for supporting the channel so I can keep doing these videos, and make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time.